Welcome, and thanks for being here. I am Susan Berishaj, founder of Sia Admissions, and today we're focusing specifically on JD applicants, why MBA programs consistently misread JD applications, and what it actually takes to make changes in your application to change outcomes. This is one of the more complex candidacy problems in the application process. If you find videos like this helpful, please give it a like, comment, so it tells it that this information is helpful and that other people can also hear about what they need to do if they are JD candidates. If you are in this session, you are most likely not career uncertain. You've already done something really hard, passed the bar, earned credibility inside a profession that doesn't hand it out very easily. And that is something to be really proud about. The question we're sitting with isn't whether you are capable, because you are. It's whether an MBA is the right move, and if it is, how someone with your specific background actually gets there, especially if you're targeting M7 and T10s. That's a more specific question that most available information and the guidances that you find isn't necessarily built to answer. So when a lawyer's file enters the admission committee's reading room, the committee is already carrying a set of patterns built from seeing a lot of JD applicants like yourself. Not necessarily a bias, but a pattern recognition. The professional context is immediately legible. Someone trained to advise, analyze, operate with a defined professional structure. What's less immediately legible is the commercial dimension, the leadership posture, and the answer to the question every MBA application has to answer convincingly, which is why now, why this, and what actually changes because of you wanting to pursue an MBA. For lawyers, that question has a particular weight. The JD is a credentialed profession with real gravity, which means whether you are leaving the field post-degree or building on it, both require a more specific justification than a background that doesn't carry the same professional identity. So it's important for you, if you are a JD candidate, to think through that. The committee needs to see that the candidates have worked those nuances out before writing a single word, but obviously has to show up in the application. Not just describing it as an aspiration, but really digging into all the nuances of the job market and the opportunities that that particular school offers. Now, that is the first thing being asked and assessed, and it happens obviously before they start reading your essays for the program. Reframing legal experience sounds like a writing exercise, right? And in practice, however, it is really a structural exercise. The strongest JD applicants don't describe their legal work differently. They're going to build a candidacy where the legal background reads as a foundation for something specific, not necessarily a credential sitting sort of on the shelf as like a trophy. It really has to be built to communicate something of who you are as a person and why did you make the moves that you've made. That means that you need to surface commercial outcomes from the legal work, what changed in the client's business because of what you have done and the advice that you've given them. It means finding leadership evidence that isn't advisory in nature, which exists in most lawyers' histories, but isn't necessarily the typical thing they lead with. And it requires a post-MBA direction that makes the business degree feel like an earned next step rather than a lateral move in professional prestige. What the program reads in a JD candidate matters obviously a lot for you, because you need to understand who your audience is and what they care about in order for you to build a strong candidacy. So let's just take HBS as one example. HBS is looking for leadership and organizational impact at scale. The legal framing has to shift substantially from before the file is actually sent to them. Being a lead counselor on a significant transaction is relevant context. It is not by itself, however, the kind of leadership evidence HBS is evaluating. Wharton responds more directly to JDs, particularly those with commercial exposure. So lawyers who work sits close to the business outcomes, particularly in finance, fintech, or deal adjacent roles where the legal and commercial dimension genuinely intersect. Kellogg and Tuck Both weigh team leadership and cultural contribution heavily, which creates a real gap for lawyers who have primarily operated as individual contributors inside a firm structure. Columbia and Booth will accept the analytical rigor JDs present and bring. What they're evaluating is whether the post-MBA trajectory is specific and credible within the employment ecosystem that you are trying to move into. None of these reads are fixed, and understanding them requires more than reading the admission page. You do need to go into depth of what each of the program is looking for and calibrating your experiences in a way that speaks to them. This session covered how the problems that JD applicants experience work structurally. What it doesn't cover, and it can't cover, is how it works in your specific case, what your experiences mean for the different programs you're considering. If you are looking for written feedback before that conversation or before a conversation even begins, an assessment of where your candidacy stands, where the JD creates friction, and what the positioning would need to look like, then I encourage you to request a profile evaluation, which is entirely free. This profile evaluation consists of two parts. The first is a scoring based on the data you've shared with us. And the second is a written report by me assessing all those components I mentioned earlier. If you are further along in the process and want to work through your strategy directly, the consultation is the better next step. We talk specifically about your background, about what our process looks like, and how we can support you in this next step in the journey. Both of those are directly on our website, but they will also be available on the comments of the section that you're joining us from. Thank you again for being here. I look forward to our next session with more insights. Until next time. Hi, I'm Susan Berishaj, founder of Sia Admissions. If you'd like to go deeper into MBA strategy, watch the next video here. And if you want more insights on building a standout application, click here to subscribe.